We had obviously the big beautiful bill passed. We saw 147,000 jobs added in the month of June, which is actually up from the 110,000 that were predicted. So it does feel like things are going in the right direction, except apparently we're not having enough babies, Jill. It's funny because my husband is on this we should have another kid train, which I mean, I've got. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, don't get on Eric Trump's side on this. We don't need any more of that.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. Did he call you too? Because he gets everyone on his side. My father-in-law too. He was like, honey, we need more of those babies. I'm like, I'm good. I got two beautiful, healthy kids. They're 5 and 7. I think I'm all set. However, American women are not having enough kids, Jill. Apparently, per woman, we're supposed to have 2.1 kids at least just to break even in our country. We're only having 1.6 children per woman in America. And I think about a lot of my friends, who I spent the holiday weekend with. A lot of them only have one kid. I have 2, so at least I replaced myself and my husband. But this is a problem. Elon Musk talked about this, Jill, that we have to have more babies. And a lot of people are like, well, why is that such a big deal? Well, we're seeing our kind of working population getting older, and they're not being replaced at the same rate by a younger population. And we do come to a point, you saw in like post-Soviet Europe that you had this same problem. And it was a bit of a downfall. It was a bit of a problem for them. So I don't know, Jill, how do we get people to have more babies?
Yeah, well, first of all, many, many ways, right? We all know the ways. I got to tell you, I don't mean to giggle whenever I hear this headline, but whenever this topic comes up, I laugh because like you, I have 2 kids. They're early teenagers now. And I think back and I go, gee, I didn't do my American duty. Maybe we should have gone for one more and we didn't. And I kind of feel guilty. But all, joking aside, personal jokes aside, yes, the American birth rate has in fact been declining since 2008. And the fact of the matter is, brutal truth, you cannot have a functioning society if you don't have enough people in it to
Right.
do all the things and be all the things. So that's where we're at. I do blame this whole phenomenon on something that I've talked about time and time again: toxic feminism and what I call toxic motherhood. And when I say that phrase toxic motherhood, it was a phenomenon that I myself fell victim to right before I ended up having my own children.
You and I talked about this before, Jill.
Yes,
I think I felt the same way.
Yes, and it's that thing where you're watching, and this is what our young women are experiencing now, although I do hope that I think that the pendulum is sort of swinging in the right direction now.
I hope so.
But our young women are experiencing all of these toxic feminists, if you will, talking about how children are not worth it and you have to sacrifice this and they're expensive and it's not worth it and the climate, and it's like they're being bombarded with all of these lies and toxic messaging to really veer them away from having children. And I got to tell you, recently, one of my daughters went through her 8th grade graduation promotion, and it was, a fun thing, and she's going on to high school now, and we're at a very, very small classical education religious school. And one of the speakers at the ceremony spoke to all of these kids saying, yes, you've worked hard. Academics are important. Finding your goal and passion in life is important. But you know what else is important? Having a family. Starting your life in a marriage. Don't be afraid of having children. Don't be afraid of when you graduate high school, start thinking like an adult, because we need to remove these messages of families are bad and children are awful. It's terrible messaging, and it's leading us down a destructive path here in America.
It really is, Libby. I mean, I don't know how it was for you, but I know Jill and I have talked about this before. I remember, like, right after Eric and I got married, Eric was like, okay, let's have a baby. And to me, that was just, that's doom and gloom. That's the end of anything that could ever happen promising for me. My life will then be over. What I didn't know, of course, is that's kind of like right when life starts, is when you have children, when you have a family. There's nothing more fulfilling or wonderful or joyful in this entire world, I think, than having kids and watching them grow, than being part of a family. But there has been this constant messaging, and I was impacted by it for so long, that if you have kids, like, sort of that's it for women. And clearly it's working on a lot of people out there.
Yeah, and it is. You're both right. It's a totally bogus message. I was married for 10 years before I had my son, and I was 35, so it was like first pregnancy was a geriatric pregnancy. And I remember thinking, like, once he was a little older, I was like, oh my goodness, now I'm 40. I wish I had two more kids. This is the best thing ever. Being a mom is I mean, honestly, it's the best thing in my whole life. I can't wait to have grandchildren, like God willing. But yeah, there is this messaging that your life is over once you have kids. And nobody tells you that you can, when your child is very little during that first year, you can take them anywhere. And it's
Yeah.
great. And by the time they're like 12, you can take them anywhere too. I mean, you can create a life with your child that is so much more fulfilling and so amazing and wonderful. And it's how you grow up. I mean, that's part of it too. You have these extended childhoods that come to a close when you have a kid, and then you realize what responsibility is and how fulfilling that is, and you realize what boundaries are and how you can create a life within boundaries that is far more fulfilling than one with endless possibilities that are really just all about fulfilling whatever your next libertine desire is. And I think that this messaging is very dangerous, and we give it to kids and we don't even realize, right? Like, conservatives don't even realize that if you send your daughters to a liberal school, this is the message that they're getting. And it starts at such a young age, because we don't ask young people, we don't ask kids, like, what do you want to name your children when you grow up? What do you want your life to be like? How many kids do you want to have? We ask them, do you want to be astronauts? Do you want to be a lawyer? Do you want to be a doctor? And it's okay to aspire to love, and it's okay to aspire to family. And I think what the last few generations of women have realized is that growing up, falling in love, getting married, having a family, and having a stable lifestyle, that's not the default. If you want that, you have to work at it, because it's actually pretty hard to get and it's hard to maintain. And so if you want it, you have to go get it. Otherwise, you're going to be 50 and you're not going to have any kids, and you're going to have a bunch of cats, and it's, you're not even going to know how sad you are.
And I mean, I'm a cat fan. I'm an animal fan, but it doesn't fully replace a child. Yeah, I do think, Jill, you said that you feel like the pendulum is swinging back. Libby, do you agree with that? I kind of do. I think that there are a lot of younger women who are starting to realize that it was all a scam, that they can't kind of do both. You can be a mom. You can also have a great career. You can do both. It takes a lot of juggling and a lot of balance, and a partner who's willing to work with you on it. But it's available, and it doesn't mean the end. It's the beginning whenever you have these kids. Do you think it's swinging back?
I think so. I do think it's swinging back to a certain extent. And I also think that it's important to remember that, careers, shoot me for saying it, feminists, but careers aren't that great. I mean, it's like,
and you have multiple
all the time. You're just constantly under the gun, and your kid is being like, why aren't you playing with me? And you're like, I don't know why I'm not playing with you. This isn't better. This isn't better than playing with your kids.
It's true. Yeah, I hope we start having some more babies. I know Eric Trump's on that train and that plan, as I said, but nobody hold your breath out there. I think I'm feeling pretty comfortable where I am.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.